and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and today I'm going to talk about some things that I bet you didn't know how to do or that you could do on Poshmark. I love making these videos because I still see a lot of people ask certain questions on a daily basis on how to do certain things, and these are always things that like I discover by accident some of the times, and then I'm like, I should really tell people that they could do this because some people just don't know or they don't know how to do it. So I just figured I'd put a list of those things together and teach you those in this video, and I've definitely made a couple other videos like this in the past, so if you want to see one of those, I can link those. But again, I think these are just great videos to use, especially if you're new, but not even just if you're new, because I'm still learning these things and I've been on the platform for 7 years, so you could always learn something, and this is a great way to do that. If you like this kind of video, make sure that you're subscribed so you never miss a future video that I do here on this channel. First one that I want to talk about in this video, and again, so many people don't know about this, and it's something I discovered by accident, but I'm really grateful I did discover it, is if someone opens a case on you and you think it's like a crazy case, you don't think it's fair, maybe they were harassing you, or maybe, you know, they opened a faulty case and you're afraid of them giving you a bad review. If they open a case on you and Poshmark sides with you and declines the case, they can no longer leave you a review, which means that, you know, that's like the best case scenario because the case is resolved, you won the case, and also they can't leave you a bad review. If the buyer decides to not open a case and just decides to leave you a bad review, I personally think that's worse because then that's like on your permanent record, really. And while a case, you know, being opened is on your permanent record, it doesn't really mean anything especially if you win. And again, if they're trying to open a case on, you know, the item not fitting or them not liking the item or things like that, I've heard of really, really crazy situations of people opening cases for, or they try and make up an excuse or something. Most of the time, they're not going to win on that. And if Poshmark sides with you and the buyer is like mad and they want to retaliate, they cannot leave you a review. So keep that in mind next time you get a case opened on you. I know it can be really, you know, sad and disappointing when you get that case opened on you, especially when you feel like you've done everything right. But just remember that honestly, them opening a case might actually be better for you, especially if there's no reason for them to be able to win the case. And in that case, then they can't leave you a bad review and you don't have to worry about it. I know none of us like getting cases or none of us like getting bad reviews, but just remember that because I think that's really helped me understand that, like, hey, if a case is opened on me, it's not the end of the world, especially if I know that I did nothing wrong and that Poshmark will definitely side with me. Okay, the next one that I actually saw somebody ask about in a Facebook group that I'm in, they asked like how you can delete comments because they felt like someone was leaving a bunch of comments on their posts and they were just kind of annoying and they wanted to be able to delete them because listings, you know, you don't want to have to relist the whole item just because of a comment. So people asked how you do this, and I saw a bunch of people saying that you have to contact Poshmark support, but you actually don't have to. So if you just flag the comment, now there's a little flag button next to the comment, if you hit that and then you can flag it for spam, harassment, offensive, transactions off Poshmark, there's so many different ones you can click. If you click any of those, it will actually take down the comment from your listing and it will no longer appear on your listing. So this is a great hack that, like, again, a lot of people just don't know you can do, and I've personally done this, especially when you list that fresh piece of inventory and you get that comment of someone trying to like scam you and try and say like, oh, take this off Poshmark, or, you know, someone just like starts spewing a bunch of random stuff. This is a great way to not have to relist the whole item and just delete the comment. It goes such a long way, and again, it's such a simple thing that like so many people don't know about, and it makes a big difference on your listing. And this goes for any other comment that you want removed from your listing as well. You can't like delete comments or you can't like remove old comments. So this would work the same way for any other case that you wanted to remove a comment for. And actually, now that we're talking about removing comments, a way that you can remove comments during a live show, say you're getting someone that's just spamming the chat, or maybe, you know, they're harassing you in the chat, or maybe, you know, you don't want them in your show. There's so many things you can do. So first you can like force press on their comment and you can report it. You can do the same thing that you would with a listing comment, and you can say, you know, transactions off Poshmark, spam, etc. And once you do that, then it will also give you the option to say, hey, do you want to block this person or do you just want to remove their comment? And if you really think that they're annoying and they're commenting a lot, you can block them, which means that they can't comment on your show anymore. And then On top of that, you can do a third thing, which is delete the chat. So say they did post a bunch of things in the chat and you really don't want other people seeing it that are coming into the show, or maybe you think it's just distracting to see, you can delete the chat. Now this is going to delete the entire chat of the show, not just their comments, so keep that in mind. But basically that will delete the history of the chat, and then you can just start fresh. So if you remove the comment and remove the person and then remove the history, then you just start fresh and it acts like, you know, that comment was never there and that person was never there. But these are for extreme cases. You don't always have to do this, and I wouldn't necessarily just do this because, you know, somebody said something that you don't appreciate or something like that. Really only do this in those cases that make a lot of sense to do it, but it's really helpful to know how to do this because I know we've all been in shows where we didn't know how to get somebody out of the show, and, you know, you can't always see who's in the show unless they're commenting, and so a great way to do this is to just, you know, flag the comment, block the person, and also remove the chat. Okay, the next thing that you might not have known that you can do is you can basically pin things at the top of your closet. Now, you can't actually pin them so they just stay there and you don't have to worry about it, but you can create flyers for anything, and I'll go through a couple different examples of flyers that I recommend you make, but you can basically keep those at the top of your closet by sharing them to the top of your closet. So how you do this is make sure that they are the last things that you are sharing to your feed every single time you share. So if you use a VA and you do the reverse share, meaning you share the bottom of your closet first, you want to make sure that those listings that are at the top are being shared as well. So a lot of people mark those as not for sale, because they don't want their VA to relist them, or they don't want, you know, whatever. But if you use a VA to do your shares and your VA is only sharing the active listings, meaning that it's not sharing those items that are not for sale and it's not sharing those listings that are sold, you want to make sure it's including those. So I always price it at like a really, really high price point so no one will purchase it. But you want to keep those at the top of your closet and keep them as available so that way you can share them with the rest of your closet. And again, there are many reasons why someone would make a flyer. I made a couple different flyers, so I'll go through the 4 different flyers I have, but again, I see so many other people use different kind of flyers, so really it's whatever you want to do with them. My first flyer is my live show notification flyer, so basically this just says, like this to be notified when I go live, so that way you know and that you could pop into the live. This I actually run in the live, so it notifies those people. I have loved having this listing because it really notifies people that might not have Poshmark notifications on or anything like that. It will just come up in their notification feed that an item that they have liked is being run in a Posh show, and they'll join. The next flyer that I have that I think is actually a great idea, and I got it from a friend on one of her Posh shows, but it's basically creating a tag list for your shows. Now, this one you have to make sure that people are okay with. You can't just like add people to it by, you know, by your choice. But this is great, again, if you have a big audience for when you go live, and it's a great way to tag people to come in. So you could basically just say, hey, like this flyer to be tagged when I go live. I will only tag you once. I'm not going to tag you multiple times. And again, tagging people in a show directly is another great way to get them to see your show and see that you're live. So I created this flyer and I had a bunch of people like it, and I just copied their usernames into like a notepad on my phone and created a tag list for my shows. So then every time I go live, I just copy and paste each of the sections of the tag list, and it tags those people that I'm live and it tags them to come into the show. So this is a great flyer to use, and I definitely recommend doing that. The next flyer I have after that is a Meet the Posher flyer. So this is basically just, you know, pictures of me and a description of me and who I am and what my business is. And I just like having this so somebody can kind of get to know me and really see what I'm all about. I think that's a great way to have a, you know, listing that people can just go to either like stop by and say hi or anything like that. I've had a lot of people comment like, love your closet or things like that. And I think it's just a great thing for other shoppers to see because it shows that you are a good trusted seller. And the final flyer that I have at the top of my closet is basically just me saying that I don't accept returns and that all sales are final on Poshmark, and this is just the Poshmark policy. This is not just my policy. So I made sure I put this at the top of the closet because, again, I've had so many people purchase and then like want me to cancel, and I just don't really like the idea of canceling. And per Poshmark rules, you don't have to cancel because all sales are final and all offers are binding. So if someone asks me to cancel, I just refer them to that listing and to the Poshmark policy and let them know that you can't just cancel offers because you regret the purchase or you no longer want the item, things like that. I just think having those flyers at the top of your closet really are nice, and I wouldn't put too many because then it kind of distracts from your actual listings, but a few flyers can definitely go a long way and really make your listings be noticed more because people are going to really want to shop from someone that puts effort into their closet. Okay, the next one is a great thing that you can do when your order is not tracking, but you've already shipped it, but it's kind of just delayed. What you can do is you can go into the order and click problems inquiries, and then you can say order is not tracking, but I did ship it. And once you click on this, it kind of sends a notification to Poshmark, and I'm not really sure how it works, to be honest, but I do know that when you do that, 9 times out of 10, it will start tracking within like 24 hours of you doing that, sometimes even like right after. And I've had packages where I've shipped them out and then like they weren't tracking for like 2 days or something, and I clicked this button just to like notify them to say, hey, I already shipped this, I'm not sure why it's not tracking. And then it basically starts shipping immediately after. So this is a great sign, and I know a lot of other people have said the same thing. It's great because there are a lot more shipping delays recently, and this is just something to get ahead of that. So if you ever have a package that is just not tracking and you sold the item, but you want the buyer to know that you definitely did already ship it, but it's just taking forever to ship, you can definitely go into problems inquiries and then, do the shipped but not tracking button, and you will definitely see an update to that listing within 24 hours of doing that. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something that maybe you didn't know that you can do. Let me know down below, what are things that you know how to do that maybe someone that's just starting out might not know how to do, that you think is just like a really great hidden hack that, could definitely help someone, because I know we've all been in those situations where we discovered how to do something and then we're like, oh, how did you do that? And then like it's just great to know. And if you want to see another one of those videos that I've done on these, because I've done so many different ones with all these different tips in it, you could click either one of these 2 videos right here. But until next time, I will see you then.